welcome to apologies for the delay. And yeah, okay. So we have Kinip and Inan as the welfare officer candidates. And also we have the office bearer here, Alia and Saleha. Yeah. All right. So before we begin, let's look at the itinerary. So now we're in the introduction, and later on we'll have the opening statement from the candidates, um, and also we'll follow by the Q&A session from the office bearers. After that, we'll go on to the Q&A session from the audience, the students. So if for the audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop in the live chat section. Okay, so and the debate session will end with a closing statement by the candidates as well. So without further ado, let's move on to the opening statement from the candidates. You have 5 minutes.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenneth, but most people call me Jasper.
And I'm Inan, and we are your MUSA 2022 Welfare Officer candidates. Jasper and I both have past leadership experiences, and we deeply value hard work, commitment, and integrity. And as we currently have experience as part of the 2021 MUSA subcommittee, we can assure you that we have what it takes to continue the efforts of the current welfare department. As fellow students who started our university lives online and understand its difficulties, we are committed to advocate for your needs to make your university experience better. As welfare officers, our primary job would be to ensure that the welfare of each and every single student is well taken care of during their time here at Monash. We would also be in charge of managing and taking care of the student lounge, lockers, and other MUSA facilities so that everyone can use them safely. On top of this, we will also be continuing the academic subsidies, hosting giveaways, and giving away care packages to the students. Due to the struggles of online learning, we believe that mental health is the biggest challenge that the majority of students currently face, and therefore it is our topmost priority to tend to the mental health related issues in the community. In this regard, we will introduce events such as journaling workshops, pen pal activities, collaborations with other university clubs, and continue hosting mental health talks that the current office bearers have been carrying out. We will work to decrease the stigma around mental health and make it more of an open topic by posting more related content and speaking about it more often. We also realize that the current counseling services need many improvements to better serve our students, ensuring that everyone gets the help they need in a timely manner. If this issue still persists if and when we start our term as welfare officers, we will liaise closely with the counsellors to solve these issues, and we will also push for the hiring of additional counsellors if need be to resolve this crucial issue. We also believe that the current online situation is making it more difficult for students to engage and interact with new people, and many feel disconnected from the Monash community. Hence, we plan to increase opportunities for social interaction by collaborating with different clubs to host different social events.
Another point that we would like to make is our emphasis on amplifying the student voices. We believe the student community would know the best regarding their wants and needs. Therefore, they should have the biggest say in terms of their initiatives to be carried out. We want to let everyone know that we are open to any feedback or initiatives and requests. So feel free to approach us if there is anything you find lacking in your student experience, as we want to make sure you get the best out of your time here in Monash. Communication channels such as anonymous confessions, feedback forms, and even our Instagram DMs will be ready for you to express your concerns and doubts. Rest assured, we will do our best to attend to your needs and highlight any of your issues. We will also incentivize the act of giving feedback through lucky draw vouchers and other gifts for people who fill out these forms. Additionally, to allow students to further play an active role within the welfare department, we plan to run an event suggestion competition to allow anyone to voice out their ideas and hopes for plans. Not only does that give students a larger voice in steering the direction of their welfare, but students will also stand a chance to be awarded with prizes while benefiting from new events. Up till now, most of the initiatives we mentioned are in preparation for yet another semester of Zoom University. However, we have also planned some plans for when we do return to campus. For one thing, we plan to introduce video streaming services like Netflix to the student lounge, where students can watch movies for free. Additionally, we hope to have free food initiatives like breakfast tables, where students are able to have a quick snack before or while heading to classes. Also, we plan to have this initiative called Free Tea Fridays, where students can enjoy free drinks from a specific time in the student lounge.
If elected, we look forward to representing each and every one of you for your welfare, and we will gladly accept any questions that you guys have. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the opening statement from Kinit and Inan. So now we'll move on to the Q&A session with the office bearers. Please note that the candidates are allowed for 1 minute discussion time if needed. All right, the floor is yours, Alia and Saleha. Um, Alia, we cannot hear you.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll start first. So thank you, Stella, and thank you to the candidates for your opening statements. So we'll just proceed with the first question, which is what does the role of the welfare officer mean to you?
Okay, so I'll answer this question first. So personally, during the pandemic, I think it really highlighted that I'm in a position of privilege right now, and that really made me want to extend my privilege out to the service of others and helping other people. And as a university student, also during these times, I know how hard it is right now to be a student in these online times. And so I believe and so I wanted to just extend a hand and help others who are feeling the same way, because I believe that since I have the personal experience, I am really well positioned to also help them. And so that's what I want to do at the core of everything, just extend a helping hand to everyone else and just be their voice.
Well, for me, throughout this Zoom university, life has been rather difficult. It's hard to reach out to people, it's hard to get help that you want. And I believe if there's such an opening for this welfare officer position, I could help reduce such struggles for students. It feels that Zoom University is kind of sapping away at a lot of our daily lives. So yeah, I believe that we could have, if both Ina and I, we have the power to make a change and benefit the students. So that's what it means to me. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answers. So just following up, so what are the responsibility that you think you would have if you take up this role?
Okay, I can answer this. So responsibilities. If we're on campus, hopefully we will. Welfare officers, we would be in charge of taking care of the student lounge and the MUSA facilities. So yeah, that would be our top priority. Also, another top priority would be the students' well-being in terms of their welfare in school, their mental health, and everything. So we would do our best to get whatever requests from the students and here be the listening ear for the students. So to convey such messages to relevant people to make initiatives possible for them. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, I'll just proceed to the next question. Thank you for that, Jasper. So, in your manifesto, you mentioned that you want to increase opportunities for social interactions. So, how do you plan on doing this if your term continues to be online? And if it is on campus, have you thought of any on campus initiatives?
Okay, so to increase opportunities for social interaction, we were planning to have collaborations with multiple clubs because we believe that each club has caters to students of different interest groups. So when we collaborate with many clubs, we therefore reach many groups of people, and so that would really broaden our reach to the students. And we just plan to have many social events, like just fun events, like the welfare department currently has as well. So we just plan to continue events like that. And Jasper, would you like to talk about possible on-campus initiatives? Oh, okay. I think he's, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, some internet connectivity.
Okay, I can continue. So on campus initiatives, we were planning to have movie screenings or maybe like a treasure hunt sort of activity, and um, in the student lounge, just oh yeah, the movie screenings would be in the student lounge if we managed to. We said in our opening speech that we plan to introduce streaming services. So if that goes to plan, we could have movie nights there. Thank you.
Sorry, could you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So also I want to follow up on the point of increased opportunities for social interactions. May we also know what interactive events that the both of you intend to host that incorporates advocating for their mental well-being besides having the usual mental health forums and talks?
Okay, I think I'll answer this one again. So, in terms of that, we said we would like to have a pen pal event where we let students sign up to have a pen pal. And at the start, it would be anonymous, but if they want, they could reveal themselves to each other. And then, so the purpose of this would be just to have a friend where you can confide all your troubles to, and then so you just become close like that. And obviously, the people who sign up for this would be the kind of people that want to have a confidant like that. So we believe that they would have good interaction with each other like that. And another thing we said is journaling workshops where we can like it would be it would be a socially interactive event as well. But during that, we just teach them how to have effective journaling methods, like how to channel your thoughts and feelings out effectively. So yes, thank you.
I'll answer that. And these initiatives, right? It's quite flexible. It can be done in a hybrid mode of study, an online mode of study, or an on-campus mode of study. So we believe that by doing these type of things, we can plan for the future, just in case we do get campus. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answer. So if your term remains online, there will always be this issue of lack of participation in your in events, and even in your proposed events, there is the issue of lack of participation that may rise. So, how will you utilize our social media page, which is Instagram, to garner more engagement for those state events?
Okay, I'll take that. So I believe that what we could do is we could have more of these collaborations with these other clubs to help share our content and what our events and initiatives that we have. We could spread more of these ideas, we can spread more of our events through this way. And I also believe that Instagram is, we won't limit ourselves just to Instagram. I know in university there's many group chats around here and there. So what if we could our messages through other mediums as well, like WhatsApp, Telegram, and so on and so forth. Because although Instagram is a good way to spread the message to everyone, I believe that we can use other messaging platforms to serve the same purpose as well. So yeah.
Okay, so I believe in your manifesto you did mention amplifying student voices, and you have said some of the channels that you intend to utilize. But may we know what exact channels do you wish to utilize to receive feedback from them? As well, generally, students do not fill up feedback forms or sometimes do so half-heartedly. So what are some of the ways will you ensure that they will properly fill up those feedback forms?
Okay, so I'll take this one. As for channels of communication, we would utilize Instagram as well. Like you just said, we believe MUSA Cares has a big potential, and so we would use that. We plan to have an anonymous posting. Like there's a website called Saraha, and I think we plan to use that one. We could also have our DMs would be open at any time, of course, and then we plan to also have the a story question sticker like at the start of maybe every 2 weeks or a month, just asking if there's any general feedback, and obviously we would also have the normal feedback form as well for anyone who wishes to fill that up. We know that students don't generally like interacting with them, not many do, but we will plan to incentivize that with having a lucky draw like voucher giveaway for people that do fill up the feedback form, and maybe that will motivate more people to do so.
Okay, thank you. So, as Instagram right now is currently our main platform to advocate for the mental health of students, and this is basically where we try to advocate as much as possible. So, do you have any new ideas in advocating and also educating students regarding mental health and their mental well being?
I wouldn't say we have anything that is too novel or too new. We just plan to have like external guest speakers come in and address different mental health topics. I do believe that you are already doing that though, so I don't think it would count as new. But that was our main plan, and then also just to have infographics every now and then, addressing different self care tips and things like that.
Okay, thank you for that answer. To follow up also, I want to know, do you intend to only advocate for mental health, or is there another aspect of welfare you'd like to touch on? And if yes, what are those aspects?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the first part of your question? I didn't quite get that.
Okay. No, I asked, do you intend to only advocate for mental health, or are there any other aspects of welfare that you would like to touch on?
We did plan during Wellness Week to have maybe a session that touches on physical aspects of health as well. For anyone that's interested, maybe on how to do first aid, how to save someone's life in times of sudden emergency situations where things can be done. So we did plan to have a session like that. I hope that answers your question.
I also like to add on to that. So in regards to that wellness week, right? We plan to have some events related to emotional health as well, and it kind of goes hand in hand with mental health, as we want these workshops to teach people how to be emotionally there for other people, how to be there for a friend, how to help someone who's going through a rough time. So that would be another thing we would like to bring in with that and touch on.
Okay, thank you for that, Jasper. Also, you said that you made it a point that you will push for the improvement of counseling services in Monash. So, what would you do differently than what we have already done?
Okay. When we, if and when we do get into office, I would say one of the main priorities is to get in touch with these counselors, with our counselors of our school, and we would discuss with them and ask them how is their management like, everything we need to know, because we know that there's such a backlog, right? And we have understand that you guys have implemented new strategies such as external hotlines, I do believe, for such of these cases. While those cases, while these way to tackle that problem is it's good and it's for a short-term basis. So we would like to push it. We would like to discuss with them basically, and if there's a need need for more counselors, we would try to push for that because we believe that would definitely help alleviate some of the backlog experiencing right now.
Okay, thank you for that, Jasper. So, as you may know, our slogan is "Your well-being is our number one priority." So, we would just like to know if you have any slogan in mind, and if so, how would you incorporate this slogan into all your events and your publicity posts on Instagram?
Oh yes. So we believe that the current slogan "Your well-being is our priority." I believe it is something that we do want to bring forward as well, as we believe we do resonate with that actually. So in terms of other slogans that we have not thought of any other slogans because we have not into that details yet. But with the current slogan, we can definitely implement that, and I think it does uh, go hand in hand with what we plan to do if and when we do take office.
Okay, thank you for that. So for events and mental well-being applications and initiatives, again, besides Instagram, what other communication channels would you be utilizing to publicize MUSA welfare?
I do believe we've touched on this before as well, but we believe that WhatsApp is a really great platform to utilize it because to publicize our events because many students have their unit groups on WhatsApp. I see even now many events get promoted in their club events, society events, and it really does bring my attention to them. I see events that I would not have otherwise seen through those groups. And so I believe that if we just sent out a text to those groups, it would alert many more students to our events.
To add on that as well, we could also take on a more hands-on approach where we could get into some classes to spread what we got, to share the initiatives with everyone. And we also believe that during orientations, we should also have maybe a small session for welfare department to just tell everyone that hey, we exist. We are here to listen to your needs, and we are open to anything that you have to say for us. So, because I believe that many students don't really know that there is such a department. Well, yes, there is a lot of people who do know, and we appreciate that everybody does know and are aware. But there is definitely still quite a big sum of people who don't know. So we could take on this hands-on approach to spread what we have to offer, basically. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Um, so we just like to know what is the change in attitude or like operations that you would like to see or possibly carry out if you were to be elected as the welfare officer?
Okay, so okay. Oh, sorry. So in change of attitudes, I believe the current attitude that both you and Ali have been exempting now, have been displaying now to everyone. It's a very positive and very good uh, way to take on things. And basically, we plan to just, how should I say this? We plan to push on with the same type of energy, and we want to foster a more, not foster, but like we want to carry on basically this initiative of having that family mentality, just making sure that within our department, everybody's on good terms with each other and everybody is working as one. We want to make sure everybody feels like a family here. So to make everything run more efficiently and smoothly and plan for events that could definitely benefit everyone. So yeah.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful answer, Jasper. So I will finish with my last question. If there may be budget constraints in your term next year, are there any budgetless initiatives that the both of you have in mind to carry out?
Okay, with the current budget cuts or possible budget cuts, events that we plan is we want to create more appreciation among students. Basically, we want to have students shout out and just share that through this difficult time, what have their friends been doing to basically make sure they're okay and stuff. We want to highlight these things because we want to spread this uh, basically this image of positivity around the campus. Um, I believe that such initiatives it does not require any sort of budget for it. And if we do need budgets, we can try to reach out to other companies and see if they are willing to work with us for a certain amount of time. And yeah, basically, we will try to do it. So yeah, that would be our plan.
To add on to that, I think an initiative that you currently have as well, with it, which is just streaming a movie for everyone. I believe that's also budgetless, and it is something that we would like to continue as well. And I'm not sure if this would count as budgetless, but we do plan to maybe ask around for sponsors from different associations or organizations outside. So if there was a budget cut, we would utilize that in order to carry out our events. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the candidates for answering the question and also the OBs for putting out the questions. So now we're gonna move on to the Q&A session from the audience. So the first question is from Nelson. So university closures have been a common tool to battle against the COVID-19. So there's a lot of problems happening during the pandemic, and what do you think about uh, these situations, and what are your plans?
Okay, so this is a very broad question, I believe. I'm not sure exactly which problems you're talking about, but obviously there are many problems that could be faced during this pandemic, and each problem would have very different kinds of solutions. So I believe the answer to this question from my end would be that on a case by case basis, we would look into it and just do the best we can for each student if they chose to come to us about their welfare. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the answer. So for Nelson, maybe you want to elaborate more about your question, and you can always put it down in the comment section below. Thank you. All right, and then we'll move on to the next question from Arif. How would you make sure your whole team, especially the publicity and secretary, is involved in the events as you have a designated team to handle the events?
Okay, I'll take this one. So thank you, Arif, for your question. So what we plan to introduce or continue is although our team members are split into teams, right? We want everybody to be involved in any way, shape, or form as much as they can. We want people to cross-check each other's work. We want people to um, basically give input, even though they're not assigned to such tasks. We want to not have such a structured type of a working style. We want it to be more fluid, so everybody can have a piece of that equation. So yeah, I believe that's what we will do. I hope that answers your question, Arif.
Yeah. Inan, do you wanna add on something? All right. Okay. Cool. So we'll move on to our next question. Is by Nelson as well. So all right. So here, distance learning will part of the challenges for students. So, there are a lot of reinforced teaching and learning approaches that haven't worked well. So, do you have any ideas to encourage students about their mental health?
Okay, I'll take this one. I believe we've touched previously on our mental health initiatives for the students to go through during this tough time. I will touch on them once again. So we will be continuing the mental health talks that the current office bearers have implemented. To this, in order to do this, we will ask external experts and people in the field to come and talk more about it in order to educate the students and make them feel like they know what's going on with themselves and with the community and all that. We do plan to have a pen pal activity so that students can have a friend to rely on. We also do have to plan to have a journaling workshop so that students can effectively put down their ideas and channel their emotions in a healthy way. So I believe all this would encourage students to better their mental health. So thank you. I hope that answers your question.
All right. Thank you for answering. Okay. So we have a question from Amiru. How are both of you planning to cater to students, especially since Jasper said that initiatives are dictated by students uh, when there are many wants and needs?
Okay, so I can take this one again. When Jasper said that, it just means that we will obviously listen to what the students have to say, but in the end, we will make what we feel like is the best decision. Obviously, we will only go for decisions that and have events and initiatives that are feasible, that are practical, that we can do. Obviously, I we know that some students might have demands that we cannot carry out. It's just not everything is possible, unfortunately, but we would try our best to do everything that is within our means. And since a lot of students might have a lot of needs, obviously we might not be able to have the time or the budget or energy to do everything in our one term. So if what we would prioritize is if there's a repeated concern, a repeated want among the students, like something many students are needing or asking for, then we would obviously prioritize that. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Amirul. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next question by Mikey. Regarding to the student launch initiative that you mentioned just now, so the student launch is pretty small. How will you ensure that you can keep make it accessible to the students while adhering to the COVID guidelines?
All right, I'll take this one. Thank you, Mikey, for that question. So, like every malls or in Malaysia, would have to be imposed. And unfortunately, as much as we do not want to uh, stop students from coming into the student lounge, uh, it is related to these COVID guidelines. We believe that the overall safety of the students is a priority for this. As much as we want them to come in, we would have to put limitations on it. As both Ina and I have never stepped onto campus and explored the student lounge before, we only heard that from words how small it actually is. So once we do start back to campus and we have to implement all these COVID restrictions, then we will we will consult schools and decide what is the adequate amount for them to be in the student lounge. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Mikey. Thank you for the question.
I'm sorry, Jasper. You might want to repeat your answer because you kind of get cut off. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me though?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll just sum up what I just said. So with the businesses in Malaysia, a lot of them having to implement these COVID restrictions, right? By limiting the amount of people who can access the student lounge, we would adopt the same method. And since we have never stepped onto campus to explore the student lounge before, uh, once we do so, we will uh, apply to the schools and see what is the adequate amount or what's the safety standards that should be implemented during the student lounge. So unfortunately, we have to limit the amount of students entering, but we believe the overall safety of the students should be a priority in this case. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jasper. Okay, so move on to the next question by Nelson as well. So, how would you see the issue that school closures will widen the equity gaps? And any examples on poor experience with edtech during the pandemic?
Okay, so we are aware that school closures would, and especially during this pandemic, the pandemic as a whole has widened the equity gap in almost every community, and it's very unfortunate. I think as welfare officers, what we could do to help those kind of students that are less fortunate, are discontinue the current subsidies that are put in place that have been carried out by the current office bearers, so to help them with buying their textbooks and their stationaries and things like that.
Okay, any add on from Jasper? No.
No, no. Yeah, whatever we discussed is not enough.
Okay, cool. Right. So yeah, I just want to remind the audience, please, feel free to drop in any questions you have for the candidates. Okay. So next question is from Ameru as well. So how will both of you deal with the backlash from students, if there is any, relating to the events or publicity in relation to welfare department?
Okay,
Okay,
so I can take this.
I can take this question.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take this first. Is that okay? All right. Okay, hi, Amiro. Thanks again for your question. So it is actually inevitable that we will eventually meet such backlashes and any of these disagreements from students about what they have to say and listen out to any of the criticism, what could be improved, what could be made better in in terms of what we do for the students. So we will take into account whatever they have to say and try to implement it even better with our future events. Because it's a learning process throughout this entire thing, and we will definitely take into account everything that the students have to say for it. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Amiro. Thank you.
Right. Inan, do you want to add anything? Okay. All right. Um, cool. We'll move on to the next question by Amira as well. So, what if, after working with the counselor, students, and yourself, feel like it is not up to the standard that the students demand, even after increasing the manpower of counselors? So, what will be done to tackle this issue?
Okay, so I'll take this question. If it is still not up to standards, even after increasing the manpower, I would just like to say that increasing the manpower was just our solution to try and help the backlog. If the quality of it is still not up to standards, we would just collect feedback on what specific aspects of it are not catering to what the students want, and then try to address that with the counselors very specifically. And while doing this, if it's not up to standard, we could go back to the solution that is being currently implemented, which I believe is bringing in external hotlines to help while we're figuring out a solution. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So we'll move on to the next question from Eunice. In your manifesto, you mentioned on collaboration with university societies. So do you have any society in mind, and why would you choose those society to improve the mental health and well-being?
Okay, I can take this one. So, hi Eunice, thanks for your question. So, okay, yes, we did mention that we want to collab with these university societies, and we have talked to a few of them, but we have not come to a finalized conclusion yet. So we don't want to be naming out any of these societies as of now. But yeah, why we believe is important is because if we can spread this reach of what we want to do to more people through these collaborations, we believe that will leave a positive impact on all the students in Monash. So yeah, that is the huge reason why collaborations would be definitely beneficial to broaden our gap,
Um, just to add on to that, there are some specific societies
broaden
and clubs
broaden
that
our
deal. Sorry, I didn't hear you, Jasper. Okay, so we're dealing with some technical issues. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so I just wanted to say to add on to that, there are some specific societies that are in the direction of psychology and mental health, and we would love to collaborate with them if they are also up to it. And so we believe that this would create a very useful tool to improve mental health and well-being among students. Thank you.
Okay. I hope that answered your question, Eunice. So, for the audience, if you have any follow-up question, yeah, please feel free to drop it down in the live chat. And yeah, okay. At the meantime, oh, okay, we have one question coming in from Mikey. Um, okay, I think you guys have a lot of great initiatives, but in reality, not everything can be achieved. So, what would you be prioritizing during your term?
Okay, thank you for the question, Mikey. I'll answer this one. I think the half of our job scope is honestly just to take care of the student lounge, the utilities, the pantry, and all that. So obviously, we would focus on that as that is a pretty concrete part of our job scope. And then the other really important thing that we would focus on is just continuing the academic subsidies and then the mental health aspect. So that's what we would prioritize: the mental health events, the subsidies, and the lounge. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mikey, for the question. So, yeah, if you have any more questions, please drop it down. In the meantime, I think the OBs have more questions.
Hi, okay. I just have one question. How can you guys assure that needs are met when decisions in the end are ultimately based on student life? As much as you can liaise and propose, how will you ensure that it goes through, all your initiatives?
I think I'll take this one again. So obviously, we do not have the final say, as you just said. All we can do on our end is just continuously push for and advocate for what we believe are the students' wants and needs, and we will do that to our utmost ability. We will keep pushing for the initiatives that we believe are necessary, even if we get rejected with it once. Since we have the needs and wants of the students at our heart, we will keep pushing forward, and that's all I think we can do. Thank you. Hi, Stella, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. All right. Thank you for answering. It seems like we have another question from Mikey as well. If we were back on campus and there's possibly a mix of students on campus, hybrid and also fully online, so how will you ensure the welfare of these students under all possible scenarios are taken care of? Since there'll be a lot of work to do.
Okay, so could I see the first part of the question again? I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so for the students online, we would keep doing the welfare initiatives that are currently being done online. I believe we could have, like, for example, if we have a screening online, we would also have one offline on campus if we are allowed to. And just so we will mirror everything as much as we can. And it would be hard, it would be a lot of work. We know that, but to the best of our abilities, we would strive to do it regardless because we are committed to really just serving the students and trying our best for them. I think
Oh,
also I just
yeah, you may continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to like reiterate that for students online, we would continue our online initiatives. We would continue the mental health talks. We would continue the fun events. We would continue the online giveaways, and on campus, we would just have the we would have our free tea Fridays, our breakfast tables, and all the other on-campus initiatives that we plan to have. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you for the answer. Okay. Um, all right. I think that's the last question from the audience. So uh, we almost come to an end. Okay, so before we move on to the closing statement, I will remind that for the audience, if you have any more questions, you may go to the official MUSA Instagram page and comment down below the KYC series. Okay, all right. So now we can move on to the closing statement. And for the candidates, you have 2.5 minutes.
Okay, so we would like to express our utmost gratitude to all of the Election Commission, the current office bearers, and everyone watching. And we would like to assure each and every one of you that your welfare will be our utmost priority always, and we will do our best to ensure that it stays that way should we be elected.
And if you have any questions or concerns, please do feel free to reach out to both Ina and I. We are more than happy to answer them and see through your concerns. So thank you once again for this opportunity, and we hope we can serve you, each and every one of you, to our full potential. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the short and sweet closing statement. So before we go, I would like to announce that the next debate session uh, will be at 3 p.m. Malaysia time, and it's for the activities chairperson candidates. So for the audience, make sure you stay tuned and come watch the debate session, as well as dropping down any questions you have for the activities chairperson candidates. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna close this debate session. Thank you and take care. Bye.